Dylan, I've just been speaking to Jamie, and probably at half time, the fans anyway take a point, but the second half, I'm disappointed to leave with just the one. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I thought first half we were a bit of a non-starter. We didn't really get going at any point, which is frustrating. Montrose looked much the better side first half. As you say, fans probably would have took a point, but on the balance of the play second half, I thought we turned it on a wee bit. And at the end of the game, you're just disappointed not to take all three.
I think that second half was just an absolute dominance and from us hitting the woodwork twice, using an
Yeah,
effort that just went wide. It was just one of those days. It
it
just
is. It is, and I can see why it's went that way. Like Montrose, when you're away from home and you've got a goal, you do tend to drop that 10, 20 yards deeper. And that comes from also us being brave as well and forcing them back. And so I kind of expected the second half to go that way, sort of waves of attack. And to be fair, we did cause them problems. We just kind of lacked that cutting edge in the final third. It was all more shots from outside the box and ifs and buts near the goal, but we just couldn't get that second goal.
but a change of position for you in that second half as well, playing that wee bit deeper, almost in a three, and then back into midfield. But obviously,
Yeah,
you've done that job a few times this season. How have you found that?
it's different. Obviously, I'm not the biggest, so I'm not used to playing centre half. It's more in terms of kind of try to drop in and get the ball and build attacks from that area. Obviously, we've had a wee bit of a crisis today with Josh coming off and Steely coming off at half time. Now I've heard that Jason's suspended,
Yeah.
so a bit light in those numbers. So it's kind of good that the management can see I can play in that position if needed.
Obviously, it's been 5 days in the last 5 games in the last 14 days. How are you feeling after it? Because you've played pretty much every minute.
Physically, mentally exhausted. A lot of miles been put on the minibus the last couple of weeks. Especially they've all been up north, especially for our contingent down south. And it's not easy for the boys up here either. But we've been Aberdeen to play Cove and then up here 3 or 4 times and then Inverness on the Tuesday. So it's difficult balancing that with your work life as well. But I'm glad it's over. Maybe a wee bit disappointed with the points now I've maybe took through that period though.
But back in training on Wednesday as a group, and
Yeah,
then looking forward to Alloa next week after a wee bit
absolutely.
of a rest.
Yeah, I mean it's strange, Stephen, that we've got a training session this week. Obviously, we're a wee bit different to most part-time teams anyway. That we only get the one training session together a week. Never mind none, obviously the last few weeks. So it'll be good to get in and get into that wee bit of routine again into these last 6 or 7 games and trying to get a wee bit of analysis done on the team we're playing and kind of have a good training session, preparing properly for the weekend.